Across the UK, a significant crisis is emerging that affects everyone. Over 3 million people are currently receiving long-term sickness benefits, an increase of around 1 million in just 5 years. This number is expected to rise even further. Reviving the UK's economy is impossible without addressing this issue and getting people back to work. Presently, sickness and disability benefits for working-age individuals cost the government £48 billion annually, more than the budget allocated for policing. This raises a fundamental question for policymakers. Can the country continue to afford this system without risking financial collapse? The government is committed to tackling long-term sickness and helping people return to work to reduce welfare costs. However, those receiving benefits often face stigma, with society unfairly labeling them as undeserving or even criminal. Fraser Nelson, who has been investigating this issue for years, describes it as one of the biggest challenges for the new government. Currently, 7% of the working-age population is claiming long-term sickness benefits, and this figure is rising at an alarming rate. By the next election, nearly 900,000 additional people are expected to join the system, equating to the combined workforce of Birmingham and Glasgow. Despite the gravity of the situation, it has largely gone unnoticed. In comparison, when unemployment hit 3 million during Margaret Thatcher's time, it caused widespread outrage. Yet today, with 3 million people on sickness benefits, there seems to be little public or political scrutiny. How did the system reach this point, and what is life like for those caught within it? In places like Boston, the number of people claiming long-term sickness benefits has doubled in just 5 years. A local church now provides free lunches twice a week to help those in need. Fraser Nelson spoke with several individuals about their circumstances. One man, previously working in security, was diagnosed with ADHD and has been waiting over a year for mental health support from the NHS. Another, a former software architect, had to quit work due to worsening mental health after being diagnosed with bipolar disorder. A woman with PTSD shared how she lost her job multiple times during the COVID-19 pandemic, which severely impacted her condition, leaving her unable to work despite her willingness to do so. These stories highlight a troubling pattern. People with stable careers are often derailed by mental health struggles like depression and anxiety, which account for 2/3 of sickness benefit claims. Instead of receiving the support needed to return to work, they are drawn into a benefit system from which escaping is unlikely. This crisis doesn't just affect individuals, it also has significant economic consequences. The UK currently has over 800,000 job vacancies, underscoring the urgent need to reform the system to address both the human and economic toll of long-term sickness. The stigma attached to claiming benefits compounds the problem. Many perceive those on long-term sickness benefits as lazy or undeserving, fostering a narrative that portrays recipients as societal burdens rather than individuals in need of support. This unfair stereotype fails to acknowledge the genuine struggles faced by those battling physical and mental health issues. Fraser Nelson, a journalist who has spent years investigating this crisis, highlights it as one of the most significant challenges for the current government. According to recent statistics, 7% of the working-age population in the UK is claiming long-term sickness benefits, a figure that is rising rapidly. By the time of the next election, nearly 900,000 more people are expected to join the system, equivalent to the combined workforce of Birmingham and Glasgow. Despite the scale of the problem, it has largely flown under the radar, receiving neither the public outrage nor the political attention it warrants. This situation stands in stark contrast to historical precedents. When unemployment reached 3 million during Margaret Thatcher's tenure, it sparked widespread outrage and public debate. Today, the number of people on sickness benefits has crossed that same threshold, yet the reaction has been muted. This raises critical questions. How did the UK arrive at this point? Why is there so little attention on such a significant issue? And most importantly, what can be done to address it? In towns like Boston, the impact of this crisis is particularly visible. Over the past 5 years, the number of people on long-term sickness benefits in Boston has doubled, making it the fastest-growing area in the country for such claims. Churches and community organizations have stepped in to fill the gaps left by an overwhelmed welfare system, offering free meals and support to those in need. The stories of individuals trapped in this system reveal the human cost of the crisis. Many of these individuals were once active,